Good day, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I am April Kate Rellon, and today I'm going to make an analysis of my chosen novel, which is Noli Tangere by Jose Rizal. Noli Tangere, English version, Marxist analysis summary. The words "touch me not" were first uttered by the resurrected Christ himself to Mary Magdalene. The title itself suggests one of the important messages of the novel. One careless step. The country during Rizal's time was weak and helpless. People were misguided. Direct and indirect oppressions were everywhere, especially those done by friars, by the characters Padre Damaso, Padre Salvi, Padre Camora, and Padre Sibaila. His novel illustrates through his characters Spaniards, abuse, oppression, greed, and manipulation done to the Filipinos. Crisostomo Ibarra in particular depicts a typical character that represents the oppressed along with Sisa, Julie, Crispin, and Basilio, Isagani, and others. Tragic episodes happen in their lives are the result of growing trinani of Spaniards, hypocrisy, vices, gambling, and etc. Social climbing by desperate Filipinos can also be the results of these oppressions. Friars became the main oppressors in the novel. Government officials were under these friars, and all these represent the superstructures of community base in which they continue to spread their power, their abusive manipulations by using the weaknesses of Filipinos, the proletariats, to fulfill their own interests. The friars have the greatest power in the community, capable of collecting taxes, putting a particular person to death, dictating how towns and communities should be run, and becoming a political leader themselves through the help, of course, by the governor, generals, and civil guards. Through the main reason why Rizal wrote the novel was to expose oppressions. He, however, did not approve bloody revolution as a primary suggestion for eliminating these oppressions. He addresses revolution as only an alternative if reform is not possible. For a shout for independence, famous Charles Dickens also addresses reform as initial move. This belief was represented through Ibarra himself during his talk with Elias. Rizal's ideology about revolution would later spark an uprising led by Andres Bonifacio. Through Rizal never approved the idea of a revolt as a primary action to independence, it was shown in Ibarra's character that he might do the same if he needs arises. Rizal still believed through Ibarra that the Spaniards would reconsider their actions and treat Filipinos fairly. And if Spain wouldn't do so, he called for revolt as an outright solution. Noli Tangere was just a beginning of Rizal's exposition and call for reform in the Spanish rule. El filibusterismo, his next, would show how an untimely revolution could be dangerous. Noli's Ibarras was still somewhat confused of how he'll be able to tolerate the tyranny shown by the Spaniards, especially the friars. He changed a lot in Philly, and in a Marxist point of view, The change is typical to those who were oppressed by capitalists and authorities who have no other thought but to gain more power and dominion all over so these are my evidences. So I used Marxist lens. So the first evidence that can be found in chapter 1 page 7, the doors of his house like those of his country were closed to no one but tradesmen or perhaps a new or daring idea. So in this chapter, the house in question belongs to Tiago, a member of the upper class. It illustrates how the conservative worldview of the church and wealthy prevents progressive views from taking root in the Philippines. The second evidence, that's why there are so many calamities the governor supports the heretic against God's own ministers. That can be found in chapter 1, page 12. So, in this quote, Father Damaso reveals that his conservative worldview, how he views Santiago's growth movement toward the secular government. So, he blames secularism for the ills of society. And the last evidence, show us a school and we will tell who you are. The Captain General, page 214. The statement by Captain General illustrates why the school becomes a contentious matter that everyone wants a say in. Education reflects the values of a society. This idea is illustrated earlier as well, when the schoolmaster tells Ibarra how his curriculum and methods of discipline were dictated by Father Damaso in order to comply with the church ideology. So, secular education offers a means to escape from the power of the church that dominates life in San Diego. So, it's understandable that it's such an important and controversial issue in the novel. To wrap up my presentation, Noli Tangere was really an effective strategy of Dr. Jose Rizal to instill the love of our own country, to have a deep sense of gratitude to the society, to have a sense nationalism, and to have a courage to fight for all of those things. And also, my realization of this novel. The novel indicated how power was abused and how people would do anything to get it. Noli Tangere also showed that not all who are in prison are sinners, like Don Rafael, who was instead a victim of those in power. The tug of power between the church and the government is also obvious in the novel. So, in my analysis, Noli Tangere gave us power. It was seed that gave us the idea to stop being ignorant, and it aroused our need for independency and freedom. So Rizal's writing was created to fuel the growing nationalism that will help the Filipinos break free from the shackles of abuse. Thank you. Again, everyone, thank you for your time and attention today. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. I hope that you learn something on my analysis, and don't forget that my analysis that I'm using the Marxist lens or Marxist approach on my analysis. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time.